last year, and that's not necessarily what she wants to do.
Yeah, much better away from the ball with her ability to shoot, but silver lining, having been put in that position, I think she became a better overall playmaker.
Pine Bluff wins the tip. We're underway here on Eddie Sutton Court in Gallagher-Iba Arena. The Cowgirls coming off of a 14-16 campaign a year ago, and a turnover starts things off. Pine Bluff trying to feed the post early. Couldn't get a clean pass in there. And now the Cowgirls will have their first chance with the basketball. First look at Alexia Smith bringing the ball up the floor. Coach Hoyt pretty high on her. There's a foul well out away from the basket. We'll take a look at the starting lineup. Gray, C, as we mentioned, moving off the ball this year. Huard, back at it. Smith and then Jones. A lot of excitement about this this revamped roster this year.
Yeah, and within the starting lineup, just right there, a lot of versatility at both ends of the floor.
Short jumper in and out. Marshall comes away with the rebound for Pine Bluff.
And important for Pine Bluff to get off to a good start. Make a shot or two, take care of it early. Try to keep themselves in this.
Girls rebounding the ball on the defensive end on their first attempt after the turnover last time. Comes a double team and more contact. And, this is a Pine Bluff team, left a couple players at home. They don't have a super deep bench tonight, so foul trouble would not bode well for the Lady Lions. Nearly a minute into the game, we're still scoreless. Into Huard. Right back out to Smith. To the near wing, Gray. Looking for the post feed. And the mid-range. Too strong. But an offensive rebound. Ball loose on the floor over the baseline. It'll go to Pine Bluff. Nice job by Huard getting in there to fight for it, just couldn't quite corral it.
Yeah, and she's going to do a great job on the glass at both ends of the floor. And that was something that Coach Hoyt wants from her team here today. They want to run and push. They weren't able to do that last year because of the roster limitations and trying to keep people fresh. Followed Coach Hoyt in her career. They push the ball, they shoot threes, and they really share it great. She got to rebound first.
Looking for another stop. Still scoreless, 90 seconds into the game. Boyd stripped the ball, falls right to a teammate. That's Okawi with it. Deep three-pointer right wing is short. And the ball goes sailing out of bounds untouched. It'll be Cowgirl basketball. Brendan, you were mentioning sharing of the ball, wanting to shoot a good percentage. The Cowgirls were top 60 in the country in field goal percentage, top 90 in three-point percentage without a true point guard last year.
Yeah, and that's attributed to Coach Hoyt and the style that she wants to play. And a fun style because the ball moves and it gets to the right people.
Left wing three hits. On a Gret with the first bucket of the season for the Cowgirls, and that's something she's certainly very capable.
Perfect, away from the ball. The other thing, not only her ability to shoot at them, but she does a great job of reading and using screens. Got a couple there staggered, was able to get free.
And that's part of the reason the Cowgirls are excited to let her play off the ball more this year. There's the first bucket for Pine Bluff as Marshall got inside, spinning away from the defender. 3-2 Oklahoma State.
And a nice job of Pine Bluff working the ball and getting that touch on the interior for the easy one. Let's go back to that last possession offensively for Oklahoma State. Here's Aussie. Ball movement. You cannot go behind a screen right there. You got to go over the top with an elite shooter. That's a career 40% three-point shooter in Aussie.
The top 50 in the country a year ago in three-point percentage. She was 4th in the Big 12 in that category. So it's not as if it's a surprise she can shoot the three. Left wing for Pine Bluff. A lot of traffic and a foul on the Cowgirls underneath. They'll give that one to Huard, her first and the team's first.
Yeah, 2 straight possessions where Pine Bluff attacks the paint. Got the lay-in 2 possessions ago, and then right there Boyd, who is known for after ball movement, looking to attack off the drive. Great job, and when she did, she drove with strength, getting herself to the foul line.
First free throw is good. The game's tied at 3 apiece. Nearly 3 minutes into this first quarter. Boyd's second falls as well. So Pine Bluff has its first lead of the contest as J.C. Hoyt's Cowgirls bring it back up the floor. Foul off of the high post injury. I think they ran through the passer. It's going to go against De'Ara Allen. Take a look at Coach Hoyt's resume. Her 3rd season here at Oklahoma State. Spent some time in 2 different leagues at Kansas City before she came down to coach the Cowgirls. 2020 WAC Coach of the Year. And then the Roos moved into the Summit League.
The 3rd season, obviously, here. The 1st year did such a tremendous job getting Cowgirls in the NCAA tournament. And again, last year, a lot of obstacles. But as I said before, she did such a great job holding them together. And they were in games. It's just when you're playing heavy minutes, you know, the Big 12 is taxing, and they would get tired, and mistakes would happen late when you get tired.
Well, and not just the physical drain of that, but the mental drain of a lot of girls playing out of position last year as well. I mean, that's a lot to deal with over the course of almost a full season, because some of those injuries were pretty early.
Yeah, that's a great point. It becomes a domino effect, especially when you lose or don't have lead guard or point guard play.
Huard ties it with the first, a chance to give Oklahoma State the lead back. 3 minutes into this 24-25 basketball season, she got them both. Huard transferring in from Montana before her time as a Cowgirl. Gives Oklahoma State the lead back. Pine Bluff, we talked to Coach Leak before the game, really just wants to do the things that you don't necessarily have to have talent to do, those effort things like going and getting an offensive rebound, for instance. Sostan in the game for the first time for the Lady Lions. And now Jayla Pelly will set up the play. Nice pass underneath, finding Sostan for the bucket.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. Once the game settled in a little bit for them, the first 2 or 3 possessions, they quit being a jump shooting team. Now they're figuring out, attack the paint, force help situations, and see if you can free up a teammate. Very good offense.
Cowie had the deflection there, and Pine Bluff leads 6-5 as we cross the 6-minute mark in this first quarter, and has the basketball back. Allen on the right wing. That shot rejected, and she got deep into the paint, but couldn't get around the defender. Quickly up the floor comes Asi underneath. The ball movement back out left wing. Asi didn't get an accurate pass, so she'll just set things back up.
Yeah, pretty good job of Pine Bluff right there, getting back in transition, matching up.
In and out that time, but Huard with the offensive rebound and 1 on the stick back.
Huard has a terrific motor. They've raved about her in Cowgirl practices. And right there, this is the 2nd time we've seen her leave her area on a long-range shot. Look at that, 2 hands, strong, able to finish with that left hand.
Offensive rebounding was not a strength for the Cowgirls a year ago. They were 340th in the country, so we're seeing some early signs that perhaps some more capability with that early on this season.
And that's the thing, you know, you equate rebounding with size, and that is true. But particularly on the offensive end, you don't have to have great size. It really becomes effort and want to, and that's what Huard has done already here tonight.
And it seems like when you have not only the effort, those that give that effort consistently, it seems like they also get an act for angles. And there's an offensive foul that's going to turn the ball back over to Oklahoma State. But when you see somebody consistently going to the boards, it almost feels like they have a nose for where the basketball is going to end up.
You basically train yourself to do that. And then conversely, see Coach Hoyt right there. You know, they've got to get back to being a good defensive rebounding team. If they want to play fast again, which is their strength, and what she likes to do as a coach, you have to clean the glass defensively. You've got to get a stop. You got to clean the glass so you can get out and run your stuff in transition.
Tenan Magassa in the game for the first time. She will score and 1. Magassa transferred in from Rhode Island, but grew up in France, and they're excited about what she brings to the table. We just saw why.
Well, they're excited about her, and makes a great play right here. Good job of absorbing contact and keeping that pivot foot solid. Very good finish right here. But it's the defensive end of the floor with Magassa they're most excited about because of her rim protection, her ability to alter shots. That'll allow Oklahoma State to get out and pressure some defensively.
Free throw spins out. Magassa listed at 6'6", long wingspan as well. She can really, she's one of those players that can affect the shot even when she doesn't block the shot. Pine Bluff trying to counter. Whole bunch of traffic in there. Lady Lions still with it. Whistle, 3 in the key, another turnover.
Those turnovers.
She said they were going to throw the kitchen sink at Oklahoma State. For the Cowgirls, they'd like to get back to playing fast. They were trying to do that there as the feet goes underneath. It's turned over. And then as we've been talking about, Brendan rebounding at both ends.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And when we talked to Coach Hoyt today, I mean, this is important tonight, but you could tell these were things that they've really been emphasizing in practice, that if they can become good at those two things, they've got a chance to win a lot of ball games.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a finished product right off the bat here. There's some growth before you get into Big 12 play in 6 weeks or so, a little further than that. There's a foul on the rebound. Cowgirls got to the board first.
It'll be interesting tonight to see how much Magassa, Huard, and even Langerman, who's in the ballgame now, play. They're all literally just coming off injury. Did not play in the exhibition game against Southern Nazarene on Tuesday night. Had some injuries, not long-term injuries, but that they've had to be careful with. So, and they really haven't had much practice time.
Certainly that makes it a challenge for the individuals as Langerman hits her first free throw of the evening. But how does that make it challenging to the other 4 players on the floor with them as well? Because you haven't had a chance to play together much yet to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it might a little bit. The one thing about 2 of those 3, they were here a year ago and played significant roles. So that certainly helps in that transition.
Off the screen, Allen trying to get underneath, but Magassa basically chased her out from under there with her length. Now the post feed is kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with Pine Bluff.
But you see why they're excited about Magassa. Look how well she moves. And she, you know, she's running around out there on the perimeter, but understands she needs to have enough cushion. But she has plenty of length. She doesn't have to body up out there. So you can tell that she's an intelligent defender, understanding how much of a cushion she must have.
She is guarding Traore right now. We have a foul off the inbound pass. I was looking down. What'd you see?
Turnover.
Oh, turnover. Not even foul. Turnover. This is why you have 2 sets of eyes on these things. Cowgirls force another turnover. Lead 12-6. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. High post Magassa.
Wow.
Wide open look for Asi. Couldn't get the roll. Pine Bluff comes down with the rebound. One thing I'm interested to see with Magassa too is how well can she pass. She's got that height and that length that ought to help her distribute the ball from that high post a little bit as well. Oh, and that one's taken away by Langerman. Another steal for Oklahoma State. Quickly into the front court. Asi in transition, called for the travel.
Yeah, right there. Just not quite in rhythm. When Langerman passed Asi, watch this defense right here. Langerman a year ago was a player I really liked because she just was solid in all phases. Smart, doesn't turn it over, shoots it well enough you have to respect her, and then always, it seems, makes good decisions. Right there was a good decision. Asi, she just shuffled her feet.
Pine Bluff on a bit of a scoring drought here. Oklahoma State leads 12-6. All the way around the perimeter to Roberts. Roberts, one of just 3 returners to this team from a year ago. She airballs it short. Cowgirls on the run. Spin off the mark right. Now Pine Bluff wants to run. Starting to become a track meet. Now they'll slow it down across Eddie Sutton court. His signature over the far side. A bit of patience in these last couple of possessions for Pine Bluff, maybe trying to be a little more deliberate. Feed inside, Langerman is there to take it away again. Look at Langerman hustle back up the floor too. She was at the bottom of that scrum and beat a couple of players back up the floor.
For the most part, UAPB has done a good job of getting back in transition against Oklahoma State.
Drive right, good little contact. Pine Bluff gets the rebound.
Yeah, and I like what Coach Leak is doing. If there's nothing there, she is really communicating with the team to slow it up. And obviously they've struggled scoring here as of late, but it's just a 2-possession game right now. You want to end this quarter where you you have some positives to talk about.
A lot of individual dribbling during this possession for Pine Bluff. Now a shot at least altered, if not blocked, by Magassa. And it went out of bounds. It'll go over to Oklahoma State.
You get Magassa a little run right there. But you can certainly see what her presence could do. And what was impressive, the Cowgirls switched some, and she was chasing little guards out there and was holding her own.
That is a big weapon to have defensively if you've got a big that can switch like that on most, if not all, screens. Mid-range jumper is good from the free throw line for Stacey Jones.
And what that allowed Macey Huard to do off that last point I made is Jones can play the 4 and 5. And you can play them together at times, and we'll probably have to do that against the size in the Big 12.
Jump ball that time. Hands got on top of the basketball for Oklahoma State. And I believe the possession arrow favors the Cowgirls.
Now here's Jones right here. Posts. It's a little, almost like a pick and pop, if you will. Jones coming off an excellent game against Southern Nazarene a week ago, where she had 22 and 8. So Coach Hoyt excited about her experience and her leadership.
And we talked about the depth as C fires from downtown and rattles it in. We talked about the depth and the refreshed roster. What we didn't hit on so much is the increased athleticism with this roster as well. They've added some really nice pieces from that perspective.
Yeah, more athletic at the guard and the forward positions.
17-6, the Cowgirls lead by double digits as we approach the end of the first quarter. Front ironing out, but the putback won't go either. This time it's Smith with the rebound for Oklahoma State. Near side, Gray walks into a 3, short. Tracks down her own miss though. Macey Huard wanting to get into a set here.
Yeah, that's going to allow Oklahoma State to go for the last one right here.
Allen, check that. Beard reached through and committed the foul there. Nadia Beard out of Griffin, Georgia, a junior, one of several juniors on this roster. But again, only 2% of the scoring, only 2% of the rebounding returning this year from last year's squad that was a really good year for Arkansas-Pine Bluff. They went 17-16. They beat Arkansas in part of their non-conference slate last year. They had a very solid season, but it's a whole new roster.
Beat Arkansas. I think they won at SMU. We're very good in their league.
Ended up finishing 4th in the SWAC last season. Picked 11th this year.
I don't even know anymore, men's or women's side. How do you pick how the preseason polls?
You draw out of a hat, I think, mostly. A little pressure here from Oklahoma State. Pine Bluff able to break it, and a nice finish on the left side from Pelly. Three-quarter court heave goes into the second row, and that'll end the first quarter with
Jaden Wooden, their freshman point guard, who will be the starter when she comes back, and then Magassa, who's been impressive so far tonight. So that was really good that they played so well without those 4 key pieces.
Now you get to add them into the fold as a three-pointer is too strong starting the quarter from Pine Bluff. Cowgirls again trying to get up and down the floor. Smith with room, attacks, can't finish. Rebounded by Pine Bluff. Now the ball's knocked loose. There's a hustle play. Whoa, Smith went into the bench, Cowgirl bench, but they were able to shove her back up into the field of play. Pine Bluff hasn't finished shots very well, but we heard from Coach Leak she wanted to see them do the little things, and the effort has been unquestionable as they find a road to the basket, but couldn't quite finish again. All the way to the rim and one. Count it for Micah Gray and the Cowgirls. Darn near went coast to coast on that one and took the bump and finished anyway.
It was pretty much coast to coast. Right, great job right there of Gray creating the contact. But you got to stop the ball in transition. Once that basket's protected, which it basically was, you didn't have anybody talking for UAPB to pick up Gray. Gray, great recognition. And that's what you do. Straight line drive with strength right at the rim.
Gray, an Oklahoma City native, but transferred in from Seton Hall. And she hits the and one free throw. It seemed like nobody realized there was only one coming there.
Yeah, made 71 threes a year ago at Seton Hall, 34% three-point shooter. So they think that she's going to be a nice complement on that other wing to Asi.
Hoisted 211. That is a bunch of reps shooting the three ball in live game action. Right hook, left short. Marshall never got it over the front of the rim. The Cowgirls want to run again. Gray, here's the three-point shot off the front iron. Fight for the rebound, tracked down by Oklahoma State. Looks like we have a bump here on Pine Bluff. Empress Roberts picks up her first personal.
Nice job of Huard running down that long rebound. Haven't mentioned her name much, coming off an injury. Just a sophomore, had a great freshman year.
Averaged just shy of 13 points per game last season.
Yeah, like she's really good. And the reason is because she's a true two-way player. And they don't want to, but if they had to, they could throw her out of the point guard position too. So tremendous versatility.
She's also the leading defensive rebounder among returning players to the team this year. Does a little bit of everything. Jones looking for help. 3 seconds to shoot. Huard pull up from the elbow. Ooh, got the friendly roll.
Boy, that is just a heady play. Remember, she's just a sophomore, but that was an experienced play. She looked up at the shot clock prior to getting the basketball. She understood exactly how much time she had.
Huard, by my count, already at 7 points. That's about her average from a year ago. So showing some scoring ability here early. 2.5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Cowgirls now by 15. Pine Bluff has not scored yet in this quarter. That changes on the right elbow jumper. Ashley Rojas with the bucket that time. Oh, beautiful feed underneath, but an offensive foul.
Well, that's too bad. That was a great cut by Huard, but just didn't slow up enough. But you saw a little bit of her explosive cut, and she sees the floor so well. But she'll go sit. You know, it's hard when you haven't been practicing.
Sure.
And, you know, these are really good athletes, but your conditioning is not the same. Game conditioning is way different than practice conditioning anyway. So I bet you Huard and those others that have come off those injuries, Coach Horton, you already seen it here early, just kind of getting them in small spurts.
Yep.
You don't want to push them too much, and you're probably not going to have to do that tonight anyway.
Speaking of spurts, Magassa had a good one earlier. She's back into the game here. Asi checks back in as well. A little delay here as we wait to get back to action. 23-10 Oklahoma State. Early second quarter. Between the rings to Allen. It's a perimeter passing here. Pine Bluff has had a tough time getting it into the post effectively. A whistle and a travel. Beer turns it over.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say is, you know, when you look at Macey Huard's teams, you think of offense, great ball movement, sharing it, getting it to shooters, etc. Defensively, what she's typically done is they play very much containment and try to make you go over the top. They're doing a much better job against Pine Bluff here. You know, the last quarter or so, just keep things in front, use your size to contest and disrupt and be sound.
A lot of the time, those teams that are playing more containment defense, correct me if I'm wrong, they want to try to slow you down a little bit, make it to where the passes aren't easy, the cuts aren't easy, things of that nature.
Well, yeah, you just, when a defense breaks down or you allow help to be forced, that's when you're in trouble, right?
Sure.
And that's off dribble penetration typically, but they do a good job of keeping in front and being there on the catch.
Wide open look, but the defense came over late. Putback falls after a lap around the iron, and an and one chance again for Huard.
She's got a great motor. This may be too old of a reference for you, Adam. Remember Moses Malone?
Yeah.
He used to miss lay-ins on purpose so he could pad his offensive rebound stats. I'm not sure that's what she was doing right there, but great second effort. and she'll get rewarded.
It was equally as effective as Huard is into double digits now.
You know Moses below.
I do,
Okay,
yes,
thanks.
yes. That is on the edge of my NBA reference points, but yes.
There was an all-star game where he got interviewed. There's a slam dunk contest, and he was there, and they interviewed him. And he said, us big guys need to have a backboard breaking contest. He said, we do all the hard work anyway.
I'm gonna put myself on the spot here. The mailman, right?
Oh my gosh, that's Karl Malone.
Dang, so close.
Okay,
So close.
I'm gonna coach you up.
We've got time. We've got plenty of time this season. You know, if you're not willing to take risks, then you'll never have any fun.
I'm impressed that you're not afraid to be wrong. You just do it out there. There's merit in that.
Macey waiting for the screen. Lobs it underneath. Magassa through the contact around the rim and in.
So here's what's great about Aussie. Now, UAPB, they protect the three better. Watch this, over the top. There's a switch back. Nice roll. Aussie, very good passer. 4 assists the other night against SMU. Bread and butter, her ability to shoot it, but she makes the right plays. She's a really fun player to watch, and right there, she and Magassa connect.
The and one free throw, pinball's out. So Magassa 0 for 2 at the line, but got another bucket to her credit. The touch pass inside from Macey for the assist, and it helps when you've got a player that's taller than everybody else on the floor. It makes it easier to throw that pass. Just lob it up there and let her go get it. There's another travel. Pine Bluff turns it back over. Smith off the screen. Huard one-on-one, gives it away. Magassa going to work with her back to the basket, and she finishes.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of different aspects of her game right now.
And that's good. If Magassa or whatever five, Egarevba or Jones or whoever, if you can throw it in there every once in a while and they can score, that's going to keep defenses honest, because Macey Huard has those shooters on the perimeter. They're going to be isolated in those.
Right hook falls. Traore on the board for the first time for Pine Bluff.
Yeah, nice answer right there by Traore, right over the length of Magassa.
Got that out of her hand pretty quickly. Open 3 from the corner. We got a flop warning, it looks like. I didn't see anybody hit the deck. They might be rewinding a little bit to whenever this was. Oklahoma State has opened the game up 30-12 now, Cowgirls, with 4:53 to play here in the second quarter.
So we have a technical foul for the second fake of the game. This is a team technical foul.
Team technical against Pine Bluff.
It is a team foul. It is
Not a personal foul, but it is a team foul. And so that'll give Oklahoma State a chance to go to the free throw line here. Longerman will check back in. Smith will go to the bench. It'll be 2 shots and Oklahoma State basketball when we come back from the media timeout. Cowgirls broken it open a little bit, 30-12, about halfway through the second quarter in Stillwater.
Was able to manage.
About halfway through the second quarter in Stillwater, Oklahoma State leads Arkansas-Pine Bluff 30-12, and we've been in our rule book trying to figure out exactly what has transpired here.
Well, it's a technical foul. You know, they call it faking out, and it's really flopping. You know, if you get a second one, it's a technical foul. So there's exaggerated or theatrical. So Allen was there to take a charge, and she got hit. Now, she didn't get run over, but as soon as she got hit, she gave. That's how you teach taking a charge. And I didn't view that as being overly theatrical. There was contact, and she didn't flail in the air like she'd been run over by a truck. She tried to take it, and there was contact. So, I mean, that's what the call was. That's why I see is at the line for 2 shots. Oklahoma State will get the ball, but I have to disagree with that. I think Allen was actually trying to make a pretty good defensive play. Yeah,
if you throw yourself backwards or fling your arms up in the air or something, that makes it a little more obvious.
That wasn't. What's funny is it did fake out the official.
That's
the irony of it.
Micah Revba in the game for Oklahoma State. Cowgirls firing from the right wing. I see, can't get it to go. Pine Bluff almost been stop and start in transition. It seems like they sprinted across the line and then kind of hold up.
Well, Oklahoma State's done a good job communicating in defensive transition. They're getting the ball stopped high up the floor, and that's allowing Oklahoma State to get matched up and extend their defense. Even though they're not really a pressure-oriented team, but they've been able to extend it here today.
Clock under 5 seconds to get a shot off. Pelly driving, flings it up off glass and in as the shot clock buzzer sounds.
Yeah, right there. Pelly, the transfer from Indiana State, just a strong drive. When she turned the corner, it was a done deal.
Nice job knowing exactly how much time she had to get that shot away as well. She milked it right down to the last second. Another three-pointer. That one's buried from the wing. Micah Gret knocks it down. Her first three-pointer in a Cowgirl uniform.
Yeah, and a couple straight possessions of zone coming out of that media timeout from Coach Link. And Gret and I see, if you're Pine Bluff, you have to be there on the catch no matter how deep on the floor they are.
Huard nearly knocked it away, led to an open look, but now Huard comes flying in for the rebound. She's been seemingly everywhere on the floor. Huard this time for 3, rips the nets. She's got, by my count, 13. That's unofficial, but she has really been lighting it up in this first half.
Well, and she can shoot it too. We mentioned that about her, 36% three-point shooter a year ago at Montana, and she's a gym rat. I mean, she puts up more shots than anybody. She works hard at it, that's why she can shoot it.
Good length too at 6'2", very versatile player on both ends of the floor. There's a three-pointer to respond. Clangs clear over the far sideline out into the corner, and Oklahoma State will get it back as we take a look back at that Huard three-pointer.
Now here's the three. We've seen her do work on the offensive glass and finish, and just wide open right there. Boom. So you have Huard out there, and Gret and I see all really good to elite three-point shooters.
A long pass out to the wing. Let's see. This time on the dribble drive, finishes with the left hand.
Good decision maker. You get you got to be there on the catch, contest, and she's not a jet, but she always finds a way to get to the rim when that seam is there.
Is that a play that she's maybe more comfortable making because of the time she spent running the point last year?
I think it's helpful, no doubt. I think she developed that better, but she did that before. She's got a really nice first step, and that was there 2 years ago. But yes, as far as decision making, no question, her having to play point last year helped that. There's a closeout, good ball fake, and then she uses that offhand. And just really, really a good, skilled offensive basketball player.
Under 2 to play here in the first half, and Oklahoma State has opened it way up, 40-14 here in Stillwater.
This is where Pine Bluff, as they close the half, and I'll also go in the second half. Coach Leak knew that this could be a challenge here tonight, but she wanted them to be able to compete and deal with adversity. And they're getting a chance to try to have their first experience with this as a mostly new group.
Yeah, it allows you a chance to kind of set the tone. Oof. I see wears one off the dome there, off the miss after the whistle. Foul called against Aussie as well. But with such a new group, with so many new faces, you have a chance to set the tone and say, hey, regardless of what the scoreboard says, we're going to find a way to get better out of this game.
And Coach Lee mentioned that. You have at Oklahoma State, at Tulsa, at Ole Miss to start the season. She says regardless of how well that goes or not how well it goes, we'll be able to grow and get better from it.
Pelly drives right into the defender. Longerman kind of slid over in front of her and picks up the foul. That was interesting. Pelly kind of drove further away from the basket. And Longerman went out there with her. It actually cleared a lane, but she chose not to take it.
Well, you can see some of the pieces for Pine Bluff. Allen, Pelly, Boyd, all three certainly can drive it. And it can go either way.
Friendly roll there for Pelly on the free throw.
But for the most part, Oklahoma State have gotten back in transition. They've kept those three in front.
Pelly cashes in on both. She's got 6 points, 16 total for Pine Bluff. Cowgirls lead by 24 with a little over a minute to play before halftime. And Brendan, you were talking a moment ago about how well Oklahoma State has gotten back in transition. I think it's easy to just assume that means, oh, they've run the floor really well, as now Pine Bluff trying to get out of transition here. But how important is communication in these moments when you're trying to get back up the floor?
You're talking about defensive transition?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it's the #1 key. I mean, it's make sure the basket's protected. Once that happens, you have to stop the ball as high up the floor as you can, get that under control, and then you have to communicate and get matched up. A lot of times you don't get matched up with who Coach Hoyt or Coach Lee wants you to be matched up with defensively. And in transition, especially when the team is pushing it. You always have to talk at both ends of the floor in basketball, but defensive transition probably no more important than in that area.
After the Cowgirl foul, Pine Bluff back to the line. Christina Boyd already has a couple of free throws to her credit today. 50 seconds to play, and let down a little short. Perhaps some late half fatigue setting in here for Pine Bluff at the foul line. Been a lot of up and down in this first half. That one got the roll. Boyd with 3. Full court pressure here from Pine Bluff. Huard zips it ahead. Gret had a 2-on-1, but didn't get to it in time. That's how Pine Bluff, a nice job getting back to reset there. Smith picked up her dribble. Huard's wide open. Got it.
Now what happened there is her flares off that screen. She dragged 2 defenders with her. It's Huard wide open at the top of the key again.
Good execution in the ball screen game really throughout the entirety of this first half for Oklahoma State. 7 seconds before halftime, and that ball is deflected out of bounds. Last touched by Pine Bluff. It'll stay, or rather it'll go over to Oklahoma State. 4 seconds on the clock. Pine Bluff just ran full court defense. They get it into Smith. 4 seconds, back to Huard. 1 second, 3/4 court heave on the way. Is off the mark off the backboard left side. And that will end the first half.
There's probably not a top 10 to 15 superstar in this ball club, but there's a lot of really good players and pieces. So yes, I agree. You would think over time that that would do it as a total unit.
Aussie buries one from the corner to get the second half underway. And Oklahoma State leads 46-17. Cowgirls pretty much picking up how they started the first half.
Yeah, and again, with Aussie being able to be off the ball this season, you saw why that is beneficial. Great catch and shoot, quick release right there on the baseline three.
Another deflection and another turnover created by the Cowgirls as Aussie pushes it straight up the middle. Too far into the basket that time for Stacey Jones. Pelly trying to respond on her own. Missed it. We'll take a look back at that Aussie 3 to open up the run of play here in the third quarter.
So the ball screen rejected by Grace. When she goes baseline, Aussie slides to the farthest part of the corner that she can. And that basketball probably was hugging that line as it went from side to side. But you saw in rhythm, footwork right there from Macey.
Spacing has always been key in basketball, but it has become more and more key as the athleticism has gone up over the course of the years, and we've seen, you know, young players, freshmen and sophomore, come in that have been doing all sorts of different Pilates or whatever they do at the high school level at this point to be ready to compete at this level. And if you can space the floor like that, it makes a big difference. There's a foul before the shot went up. That'll wipe the make off. De'Ara Allen picks up the foul.
See Coach Lee communicating with the players. You know, at this point, what you're trying to, I mean, this in the longevity of their season, this game means nothing.
Right.
She's trying to get them to continue to work together, fight, make things tough on Oklahoma State.
This is quite literally building block number one in almost every way for this Pine Bluff program that has really hit the reset button entirely after Don Thornton left to go coach Alabama A&M in April. There's a jumper from the baseline on the far side.
Right there, Gret, a known three-point shooter. Showing a little mid-range on the closeout that was a little overzealous.
We talked about both her and Macey kind of being dueling three-point shooters on each wing, but they've also shown the ability to get closer to the basket and score buckets as well. There's a foul against the Cowgirls. Huard picks it up. That's her second by Micah.
Here's Gret right here, transfer from Seton Hall. See that step away from the defender? This is nice. Great space, plenty of room. All alone little 15-footer right there.
Allen go to the line here. Scoreless so far today. She's 0 for 5 from the field. As the Cowgirls have held Pine Bluff to just 26% field goal shooting. Allen hits the free throw, though. First point of the second half for the Lady Lions. He spins out with an offensive rebound. Marshall had already worked her way back up the floor. She had to come get back into play. Ellie wants to get into a set, drives it left. Well contested shot is no good. Cowgirls wanting to run. Longerman on the wing, bounces to the corner. Underneath this time, bucket good.
Boy, it's so good in transition. You don't get anything in primary break. That essentially becomes secondary break. But Adam, you mentioned the spacing. That was classic right there. 4 perimeter players, and then Jones just waiting for the play to develop. Gets the easy one.
And we've now seen Gret make a three, score after a pump fake, and then create for a teammate. A lot of different things that she brings to the table. 50-18. Cowgirls get another turnover. They've now forced 14 and committed only 5. Huard for another three. Off the mark that time. Pine Bluff. Back in transition. Pelly handling the ball a lot, especially for a player who did not wasn't in the starting lineup for this game. 3 minutes gone by in quarter number 3. That one too strong, and Huard gets the board after defending the shot. Trying to find Jones underneath. Couldn't quite bring it in. And turnover number 6 for Oklahoma State gives it back to Pine Bluff.
Yeah, really good look. Just a touch high to Jones. But you see Jones, how well she runs the floor. And that's what Oklahoma State wants to do. Whoever your first available quote-unquote big, I mean first available, be how high up the floor. Rim run, that allows you your spacing, and sometimes you can slip behind the defense. That almost happened right there.
Jones out, Magassa in. Cowgirls lead 50-18. 6:24 to play in the third. Trying to keep the energy up, even though there's a lopsided score on the board. There's a finish on the left side from Pelly. She's got 8 of the 20 now for Pine Bluff. She's been their most effective player.
That was really good. I mean, the adjustment in the air over the big of Oklahoma State.
Cowie after the steal, running the length of the floor, and she finishes with the right hand. Her first points of the day. That's the first time that it kind of a self-inflicted turnover, it felt like, for Oklahoma State that time.
Yeah, maybe one of the first quote-unquote careless ones so far tonight.
Huard to Gray, three-pointer. Banks it in that time off the glass. Gray into double figures, the third Cowgirl to reach double digits today. Oklahoma State by 31 as we approach the halfway mark of the third quarter. Allen behind the screen, she hits it.
It's good to see. We talked about Coach Leak wanting them to come out and continue to be competitive. They've certainly done that. A couple made shots have helped them also pick up the effort on the defensive end.
Mad scramble here as Longerman takes a bump. She'll go to the foul line. Foul called against Marshall. It felt like the game had slowed down a little bit, Brendan, and then that was kind of a wacky possession there, trying to get the ball to the basket for Oklahoma State. Cowgirls lead it 53-25, halfway through the third quarter, and at the line when we return.
What do you want me to do for dinner?
Positive plays coming out of the half. That's terrific. Great adjustment in the air over Magasi, her length. And there's a turnover, a little run for Cowie. And now they get a little bit of rhythm. Body language changes with a made three-point shot. And so Coach Leak has to be pleased with how they've come out in the second half. Again, you got to remember, what'd you say? 2% of their production returns from a year ago. So brand new coaching staff, brand new team, playing in a tough situation on the road against a quality power conference team.
Yeah, what was it? 3% of their minutes from a year ago returned, and only one start between the three players that returned in any game last year. So very thin coming back. Really enjoyed getting to chat some with Coach Leak before the game. She actually was coached by former Cowgirl head coach Kurt Budke in her time as a player at La Tech, and we ended up finding a bunch of connections when we got to chat with her some pregame. Cowgirls running the floor again after the miss. Huard up underneath the basket, shovel pass and an easy bucket underneath. Huard's doing it all today.
Great hustle, great vision right there. You saw her. Now, to me, she doesn't look 100%. She will be soon. She's really good athlete, explosive, but she's a great cutter away from the basketball. You saw it on that possession. Here it is right here, Adam.
She started the break running the floor, too.
This is a give and go, basically. Give it up, advance it up the floor, continue to flow, cuts down the lane, and then Huard understanding this. Watch this, good angle right here. Advance it up the floor, keep coming. Little handoff. That's like a pitch. Her dad used to do that in the NFL to the running back.
Well, and Huard also, as that ball is deflected after the air ball out of bounds, it'll go to Oklahoma State. Huard not panicking when she got underneath the basket there. You know, kept her dribble, kept 2 feet on the floor, gave herself time to adjust and find a teammate. We're seeing the Cowgirls work together really well here in just the opening game of this season. Huard, right back to the right wing. Gray can't finish. Huard, though, with the offensive rebound. Couldn't get that one to go either, but does earn a trip to the line.
Now, right now, you have in the game Huard and Huard. I think you're going to hear this a lot. A couple of, really what they are bigger guards with versatility at both ends of the floor, but a couple of players that really relentlessly attack the offensive glass. I think when Huard gets her game legs under her and is 100%, she's going to be that much better. But those two together are pretty active and athletic on the glass.
Both free throws good for Huard. Yeah, we're going to have to do our enunciation exercises before the games to make sure we're ready when they're both on the floor together. 3:40 to play here in this third quarter. Cowgirls lead 59-25. Miscommunication there. The ball is loose. Longerman pokes it into the back court. It's scooped up by the Cowgirls in transition. And one on the right side from Micah Gray.
I mentioned the first half. These are the type of things you get from Langerman. Look at this right here. Runs ahead, taps it forward, allows Gray to run it down. And then because Huard runs the floor well, that lone defender has a decision to make. Do I advance out on Gray, or do I stay in the lap of Huard? So Gray attacks, they hang back on Huard, nice strong finish. I mean, that is from Langerman to Gray, even to Huard, sprinting the floor. That's just good basketball. It's team basketball.
5th steal of the game for Langerman. Free throw is good for Gray. Pine Bluff had hit 3 straight shots going into the media timeout, and I don't believe, they've not hit one since. Angle cut off there. I think she stepped on the baseline. Looks like the Cowgirls are going to get it back again. 9-0 run over the last 90 seconds for Oklahoma State.
Now here's the situation. Again, versatility throughout this roster. You have Huard at the point guard position. I mean, she literally could play the 1 through 5 offensively if you need it.
She feeds Nagasa, who has a shot blocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, right there, just a simple overload on that right side, trying to clear out the weak side help that's built in.
Huard will do the honors of getting us back underway. Nagasa just simply holding the ball higher than anyone can get to it. Huard now kicks. Huard. Huard with 21 points in her regular season debut here at Oklahoma State, coming off of a, what was it, 14-point second half against Southern Mass?
Yeah. Guess now she can put 2 halves together.
Apparently so. 3-pointer to respond is short. Langerman gets the board. Langerman pushing the pace. Leaves it back for Huard again. Bang! 24 in her Gallagher-Iba debut.
Well, like a team. You see that 15-0 run over the last 2:38. Obviously, Huard most recent with those back-to-back threes, but you know, I don't want to jinx anything early in the year, but they play together, or they're trying to, like a team that doesn't care who gets the credit, because the ball's moving really good. And you saw Langerman on that last play. She drove it up the floor with the idea, I'm going to pitch it back to Huard. She's been hot. She just hit a 3. So she was looking for her. I mean, that's a good teammate. That's playing the right way.
An offensive foul gives the ball back to Oklahoma State. There's still a little bit of Halloween in the student section as we are in the early portion of November here. You saw the traffic cone coming back from the break there. Asi gives it to Huard again. That one too strong. Slapped out of bounds by Maria Anaya Rodriguez. Freshman out of Barcelona, getting her first action in the regular season here at home today. Ashley Rojas back in the game for Pine Bluff. Send it to the far side from her, though. The perimeter passing here as the Cowgirls got the shot clock under 4 seconds. A drive. Pelly can't finish. We've seen Pelly kind of save some possessions, Brendan, for Arkansas-Pine Bluff, where they haven't had a lot going on, and late in the shot clock, she just gets somewhere near the rim and tries to make a play.
Yeah, pretty shifty and strong. We mentioned ability to go either way, right or left. And then when she drives it with strength. You know, there's a lot of times players, and I say this all the time on broadcasts, they'll drive it in there, and they may get bumped or shoved or have hands on them. But if they're not driving with strength, you know, the official is just going to assume you're weak. But if you go hard, you'll get the benefit of the doubt. That's what Pelly does when she drives it.
And she takes advantage, getting both free throws on that trip. She's into double figures with 10 in a game in which it's been hard for Arkansas-Pine Bluff to get points on the board. 68-27, Cowgirls leading by 41. Full court pressure here. Player hit the floor. Huard, straight line to the basket, finishes with the left hand.
A nice job of Huard right there, going to the window for Rodriguez to find her in the middle of the floor.
Three-pointer missed. Huard with the rebound. Now a board shy of a double-double. She's been efficient too. 8 for 11 from the field, 4 for 6 from deep. Asi rattles it home. A whistle. One official says the shot is good, and indeed that is confirmed. So what's the foul?
Now, little handoff right there from Huard to Asi in rhythm. Yeah, too much space. Asi will make, she'll make 4 or 5 of those, if not better.
Nadia Beard was called for the foul. It'll send Oklahoma State to the line, depending on who she fouled. They're going to take a look and see which player that was. They know who should shoot the free throws. Oklahoma State now leading 73-26 on a 20-1 run.
Call on the floor is an off-ball foul against Arkansas-Pine Bluff. That play is under review.
So they'll go take a look at it. Official came over, Brennan, and signaled number 7. I've still not gotten used to the numbers 6 through 9 being available to basketball players here the last couple of years.
Yeah, used to not be able to do that.
Successful 3 is good, and number 24 from Oklahoma State will shoot 2.
Yeah, no question right there. You see underneath the goal, Egarepa shoved by Byard. Is that? Yeah, it was Byard.
Beard. Yep.
Beard. Yeah.
So Egarevba will go to the line looking for her first points of the season. We were talking with Coach Hoyt about her before the game. She feels pretty confident about what all 3 of her bigs bring to the table.
Well, Egarevba hasn't played much tonight, and that is because Pine Bluff is so perimeter oriented. Now, she's a banger inside. You know, she plays 12 minutes, she's going to get 8 rebounds and has a high motor. So she's a really good piece. The matchup probably not great for her. Magassa, even though she's bigger, moves a little better.
Sure.
But that's not because Egareva is not going to make an impact on this team. It's just the opponent tonight doesn't fit necessarily what she does best defensively.
Foul away from the ball on Egarevba.
But yeah, you're right. There's versatility at that 5 spot. Egareva, or at least different pieces. We've seen Magassa. Jones can play there if need be.
As you talked about earlier, Jones capable of playing the 4 as well. So you can, if you need a little bit of a bigger lineup, you've got that as an option.
Well, we probably throw around the word versatility on broadcast too much. And I think of versatility, honestly, and you have to remember who I play for, is versatility defensively.
Sure.
And you look at Jones, she's kind of a 4-5, and then you have Huard, who is a 3-4. You know, she can play the perimeter or wing at the 3, and if she's the quote-unquote 4, she's a stretch 4. So there's 2 players that can trigger some different types of lineups for Oklahoma State, different looks.
Cowgirls broke the pressure. About a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock as we approach the end of the 3rd quarter. Comfortable lead for the home crowd. Enjoying some Monday night basketball as we open up the season. 5 seconds to shoot for Huard. 3 seconds to shoot. Hands it back. Asi back to Huard. Needing to let it go.
Good defense right there from Pine Bluff. Everything in front, there on the catch. That's one in the film room that you want to look at and praise.
At the 3rd quarter buzzer, off the mark left for Pelly, and that'll get us through the end of the 3rd. 74-28, Oklahoma State.
On the glass, defensively she's sound, and those numbers are absolutely terrific. And what happened was she got going, and then her teammates started looking for it, creating for it.
Well, and as you mentioned in the first half, she did the same thing in the second half in terms of she got herself going by getting to the offensive glass. 4 offensive rebounds. As we have a travel that'll give the ball back to Oklahoma State. 4 offensive rebounds is more than twice as many as any other individual in the game. So she's done the little things, and that has helped her do the big things as well. Cowgirls break the press. It's been a very efficient game overall from Oklahoma State. The Cowgirls shooting 59% from the field and 56% from behind the arc. Inside, Magassa, 5 seconds. Drop step, can't finish, got her own miss. Put back, eventually pinballs out of bounds. Last touch by the Cowgirls. Now for Oklahoma State, kind of need to find the balance here between continuing to do the things that have worked well and solidify those, but also you found yourself in a position you can maybe try some things maybe a little bit different over the course of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, the main thing, and with Coach Hoyt, they're over their timeout. She's talking about play clean, play the right way, don't get complacent. It's going to give her an opportunity also to maybe do some different things with different lineups. Obviously, get some young players in there. Rodriguez in there right now.
It feels like as Roberts finishes with the left hand, it feels like often for either team when the score becomes a little lopsided, one of the first things to go is communication, because it's not as intense. You don't feel like you have to be as vocal or maybe as loud, and if you can find a way to continue to do that in moments like this, that can go a long way.
Yeah, and if you're, Oklahoma State or Pine Bluff's case, if they continue to do that, I mean, to me, that shows some maturity. Here on November 4th, that'd be a good thing.
Magassa and one. Bullies her way to the basket and finishes off the glass. We haven't seen her finish quite in that way,
Yeah,
Brendan.
pretty skilled. I was interested to see tonight what her hands are like. She catches pretty well. 2 hands, soft hands there. And that's just a rip face up, get a little bit of an angle, and then finish with that offhand. But you can see her upside. And as we talked about, really, the main thing that she's going to do is provide rim protection defensively, a presence there. But as we said in the first half, if you can throw it into every once in a while and she can show that, that will keep every defense that Oklahoma State plays honest, including teams in the Big 12.
Completes the three-point play. Cowgirls lead by 47 early on here in the fourth quarter. Magassa nearly took that one away. Ends up committing the foul, but got the hands in there out on the perimeter. We talked about that earlier. She moves well enough. She can get out and guard on the perimeter a little bit.
Great length, obviously, but she's pretty good in position defensively. And that is maybe what's impressed me most about her tonight. Her perimeter defense. Those handful of possessions.
Mid-range jumper is good for Empress Roberts. Her first points of the game. And one thing I like hearing just now, Brendan, is Coach Hoyt arguing on behalf of her players, trying to get those calls even late in the game, even in a lopsided contest. Asi misses right. Rebound, which is tracked down by Pine Bluff, and a foul against Oklahoma State. Rodriguez picks it up. Just her first. Inside. Couldn't finish. Rebound slapped free. And now a bank shot on the left side for Sostand. Her first points in the second half.
Oklahoma State had a couple players, including Magassa, that leaked out right there, trying to go to the offensive end before the defensive rebound was secured.
Asi kicks it. Huard for three. In and out and back in again. When it's your night sometimes.
Well, she was an excellent shooter a year ago at Montana. But when you talk to Coach Hoyt and the staff about the effort she's put in since she's come to Oklahoma State, become an even better shooter. I mean, it's not an accident.
Long two-point jumper knocked down by Rojas. Huard with 29 and counting in her debut, and still needs one more rebound for a double-double. 6.5 minutes to go. A little feed underneath. Magassa with the finish. She's into double figures in her Cowgirl debut.
To me, that's Asi purposely putting herself in position to force help to get it to Magassa. to include her in the offense. She knows that over time, again, if you get a little bit out of her offensively, like we talked about, I mean, that's just going to make Oklahoma State that much better offensively.
Stripped away. Cowgirls in transition. Macey wraps around to pass, a wide open bucket for Anaya Rodriguez. Quickly the other way, and an offensive foul. Cowgirl defender stood her ground.
Well, people have listened to the broadcast that I've been able to do for Oklahoma State. No, I really appreciate the way Macey plays. I mean, like I said, she makes the right play. This is back-to-back plays where she literally could try to put more points on the board, but she unselfishly gets a couple of bigs involved. And then she understands, not just about tonight, the longevity of that and how important it is.
Macey now to 5 assists to just 1 turnover in the game. Got a little banged up on that last play. Might have caught a little elbow or forearm to the face there. I'll go take care of her on the far end of the bench.
Yeah, that
Cowgirls turn it over off the inbound.
That probably will be, and it should be. You know, the last time we'll see her, even if she's okay.
Under 6 minutes to play. Oklahoma State leads by 48. Follow-away jumper here is off the mark. Rebounded on the backside by Oklahoma State. Smith scoreless so far in this game. 0 for 5 from the field. She does have 4 rebounds and 3 assists, though, so has found other ways to make an impact on the contest. Huard driving around a screen. She's fouled. Called against Okawi. Langerman will check back in. Traore in and back out to back in. Okawi will go to the bench for Pine Bluff. First free throw is good for Huard. She's got a 30-burger in her first game, a first official game at least, in a Cowgirl uniform. What a debut. Second free throw good as well, make it 31.
Yeah, as you would expect, a very enthusiastic big hand for her as she exits.
It would appear, unless she returns, as a fall-away jumper is short. Cowgirls in transition. More on that in a moment. Lob pass right side, and Anaya Rodriguez finishes with the right hand. Cowgirls continuing to run the floor even here late. Uriah Jennings in the game. Getting a little time on the floor. And there's a fall away. That looked like it might have been deflected again by Rodriguez. Now the Cowgirls in transition again. 4.5 to play. Lob underneath. Jones kicks it out. Good ball movement to an open Langerman. Buries the 3.
And Langerman deserves that, Adam, because she does so many things that maybe don't stand out as much as others. With her unselfish play, so good to see her to get that 3 to go down. We talked about Langerman. There's a lot of really good shooters on this ball club. But Langerman, you have to respect her. So when she's in the game, you have to extend out. And here's an example of that. You get a little paint touch right there, Adams. This 4-star recruit, top 100 player by ESPN, and she's really good. They're excited about her. She's tough, knows how to play. Big numbers, obviously, there. And it's a large high school. It wasn't at a small school, so was challenged a lot. Has that injury. What Coach Hoyt tell us today, Adam? You know, maybe a week at the earliest. They want to be careful with her injury, but she's going to be back.
She certainly seemed encouraged it was going to be pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yet another piece you can add to the puzzle. And as you saw there, the third top 100 player that Coach Hoyt's brought in, and this is the beginning of year 3 for her. So you keep stacking those one on top of the other, and you're going to find yourself in a pretty good position talent-wise. Pelly to the corner. Too strong on the jumper. Good position that time underneath for Agarevba. She earns the foul call. We are not done this evening. We'll have more basketball to come. Oklahoma State men will be in action taking on Green Bay in just a little bit, and former Cowboy Doug Gottlieb making his Division I head coaching debut in that contest as well. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, the start of the year is always great, but even more interesting tonight, maybe than ever. Nice drive right there, boy.
Yeah,
tell you
tough
what,
finish.
Yeah.
And that, Brendan, I think is exactly what we were hearing about from Coach Leak before the game. She wanted to see her team come in and play hard for 4 quarters, and you saw some excitement there from Pelly after the tough finish. That's the kind of stuff that she's looking for that she can build off of.
And again, as a perimeter defender, I mean, you're tougher to guard when you can go either way, and you're not predictable. And right there, I mean, she sit back in her left hand, and there was that little hesitation where she froze the defender and then just blows right by. And that's multiple times, and that was over a larger defender that had quite a bit more length. You've seen her do that multiple times tonight.
Pelly has not been a volume scorer either, 4 for 7, so she's been efficient with it. As the Cowgirls miss a 3-point jumper, crossing the 3-minute mark to go here in the 4th. Another drive, another foul. Pelly will go back to the free throw line. This one on Kennedy Egan's. Her second, a freshman out of Little Elm, Texas. First one good. That's 14 for Pelly on the night. Far and away the team's leading scorer. No one else with more than 4 for Arkansas-Pine Bluff. And she got the roll on the second as well. 2:45 to go. Brenna Butler, sophomore out of Groover, Texas, into the game. Gray with the mid-range, swishes it.
Yeah, we've seen her do that multiple times tonight. That'll serve her well. As good a 3-point shooter that she is. And Adam, one plays off to the other. You got mid-range and a 3-point shot. Just kind of take what the defense gives you.
Floater is well short and deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Pine Bluff. The Cowgirls do not have much time off before they're back in action. 6 straight home games to start this season. They'll welcome in-state foe Oral Roberts to Gallagher Arena on Thursday.
Yeah, program you know really well. You told me we were talking about how fast Oklahoma State would play tonight. You said wait till Oral
You
Roberts.
and I might need to wear our tennis shoes for that game. It is going to be an up and down contest. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, I'll wear them, but that surely doesn't mean I have to do anything.
Well, let's hope not. My conditioning, you were talking about game versus practice conditioning. I just have one level of conditioning, and I don't have it right now.
Yeah, there's also old versus young conditioning, too, which I know about.
That's deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Oklahoma State, 1:46 to play. Overall, though, for Oklahoma State, you came in and at least from the outside looking in, it seems like Coach Hoyt's squad did the things that they wanted to do this evening. A lot of different attributes that were showcased in this game. So we see another player go to the floor. We've seen several different Cowgirls get on the floor for a basketball tonight. Jumper too strong, spiked off the deck. And a foot shuffle gives the ball back to Arkansas-Pine Bluff.
No, I mean, Adam, what you just said, I mean, I agree. It's been the ball has moved good. There's been very few plays offensively where a pass or shot was forced. And in fact, I would say from that standpoint, it's been excellent. Defensively, you know, Pine Bluff has some limitations because they're so guard-oriented. Mostly it's been pretty good by Oklahoma State.
That's a tough deflection. Going up to get it was Anai Rodriguez, and she'll take it all the way to the rim for 2. She got way up in the air to get to that one.
And there's some depth on this roster. There's a lot of ways they can go. You know, over time, obviously, Coach Hoyt will narrow down the rotation, but a lot of pieces you could go to eventually that can play at this level.
And it's a well-rounded roster. You've got some younger players that you're excited about. You've got some more experienced players. I mean, Coach Hoyt seems to have done a nice job. There's a billion ways you can build a roster right now with the way the transfer portal is, and she seems to be striking a little bit of a balance.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as I talk to college basketball coaches, they would say that if there's a way to have balance with some youth, maybe players that you can develop like the old days, right? But you have to use the portal. There's so much bouncing around that you have to take and look in the portal to find players that can make you a really good coach because they're talented. But she's done a nice job of that. They kind of felt like last year they got away from some things in terms of recruiting, adjusted some things of how they approach it. And I think it's obvious, you know, when we talk to her and other people on her staff, they like this team. I always ask coaches, do you like this team? And sometimes they'll say yes, but you can tell by the look in their face or their body language, you know, maybe they don't love them that much, but they like these players and the way they've gelled together pretty quickly. And at least as far as tonight goes, I can see why.
Coach Hoyt really doubled down on that. You said, do you like this team? She said, love this team. And she spoke very highly of the way they've grouped together.
Now, the thing is, and I would expect it would be just fine, but do you like them when adversity hits? And, you know, you go on the road later in the year, or you lose 4 out of 5 in Big 12 play against quality opponents, or you get your rear handed to you on the road, which happens almost every, you know, how they respond to that, and assuming they do that well, that's when you really know if the group you have has a chance to be special and great to be around.
1 for 2 trip for Iga Revba. Under 30 seconds to play, about 3 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock as we wrap this one up. Again, we're not done with the basketball in Stillwater this evening. Men's game coming up as part of the season opening doubleheader in just a little bit. That rattles in and out. The shot clock is off with a dozen seconds to go. Oklahoma State, a well-rounded performance in the season opener against Arkansas-Pine Bluff. As the clock ticks to zeros, 96-43 Cowgirls in the season opener. And